You've been told to dream big. You've been told to think positive, to work harder, to align your energy, and yet here you are, still waiting, still aching for the life you know should be yours. Why does it feel like the more you chase it, the further it slips away? You've followed all the steps. You've read the books, whispered the affirmations, meditated until the silence itself grew heavy. You've crafted vision boards thick with hope and forced yourself to feel grateful, even when it hurt, night after night. You closed your eyes and imagined the life you longed for until even the pictures in your mind began to blur. And yet, nothing. Sometimes it even felt like the harder you tried, the more everything unraveled, as if the universe was slipping through your fingers on purpose. You don't say it out loud, but deep down you've wondered, what am I doing wrong? The truth is sharp, but it's also liberating once you see it. The universe isn't responding to your effort. It never was. It doesn't care how hard you try or how desperately you want something. It listens to something else, something quieter, something you didn't even realize you were transmitting all along. Because the universe doesn't answer your words, it answers your frequency, and that frequency is not shaped by what you say, it's shaped by what you are. Most people don't realize they're sending out mixed signals. They believe they're manifesting abundance, but their nervous systems are still trained by years of lack. They repeat mantras of self-love, but every cell in their body still braces for rejection. They script stories of success, yet glance at their bank account with dread. On the surface, they want change, but underneath, they're wired to expect more of the same. And the field doesn't judge. It simply reflects with a chilling accuracy exactly what you are broadcasting. You are not manifesting what you desire. You are manifesting what you are. This is why so many people feel trapped in a cycle of hope and heartbreak. Why it feels like every burst of progress is followed by a collapse. Because the quantum field isn't a machine you control with your thoughts. It's a mirror. A mirror that reflects not what you wish for, but the coherence you live from. Coherence isn't just thinking the right thoughts. It's not just repeating affirmations or staying positive. Coherence is a state of being. It's when your thoughts, emotions, and actions move in the same direction, when your breath, your posture, your inner story, and your daily choices all align and hum in harmony. But most of us are trying to think our way into change while our bodies are still stuck in the past. And the field doesn't care what you say you want. It tunes in to what you actually believe, what you actually feel, what you actually live. So this is where the real work begins. Not with more rituals or louder declarations, but with a shift so deep it feels like starting over. A shift from seeking to being, from chasing to receiving, from force to resonance. Because in the realm of quantum manifestation, trying too hard isn't a virtue, it's interference. When you push, you signal lack. When you force, you broadcast fear. But when you soften, when you regulate, when you return to center, your signal steadies. And only then can the universe respond. So pause, breathe, ask yourself quietly but honestly, where in your life are you gripping so tightly the energy can't flow? Where have you become so fixated on the outcome that you've forgotten to become the version of you who already has it? Where are you sending out contradiction even as you beg for clarity? This is the moment to see it. The quiet, pivotal moment when you realize the field is not rewarding you for trying harder. It's waiting for you to tune your signal. If the universe doesn't respond to effort, then what does it respond to? That single question reshapes everything. The answer isn't complicated, but it requires you to unlearn nearly everything you've been taught about control, about manifestation, about cause and effect. Because at its most fundamental level, the quantum field is not a reward system. It's not moral, it's not emotional, it's not even conscious in the way you imagine consciousness. It is a mirror. A vast, intelligent field that reflects coherence, nothing more, nothing less, with stunning precision. The field doesn't decide what you deserve. It reflects what you are aligned with. And alignment isn't measured by what you think. It's measured by what you broadcast across every layer of your being. So what exactly is this signal you're sending? It's not just your thoughts. It's not just your feelings. And it's not just your actions, at least not in isolation. It's the harmony or disharmony between them. When your thoughts proclaim, "I am abundant," but your emotions are steeped in anxiety and your actions are driven by fear, you are not sending a clear message. You're sending noise, static, contradiction, and the field mirrors that back. False starts, mixed results. A sudden breakthrough followed by an inexplicable collapse. But when your system enters coherence, when your thoughts, emotions, and actions move in the same direction, the signal becomes clean. And the universe, by its very nature, begins to shape itself around that frequency. This is why so many techniques fail. People focus on a single layer, positive thinking, affirmations, vision boards, as if that alone can rewrite the signal. But those efforts are like trying to tune a radio station by turning up the volume. Until you change the frequency, the song doesn't change. Let's go deeper. In quantum physics, there's a phenomenon called the observer effect. At the subatomic level, particles don't have fixed properties until they're observed. Before observation, they exist as a cloud of possibilities, a wave function of potential. But the instant you observe them, the wave collapses into a single, tangible outcome. That act of observing creates a reality. But here's what most people miss. The observer isn't just your conscious mind. It's also your subconscious. And this changes everything. Because while your conscious mind is fixated on your goal, your subconscious may still be marinating in fear, shame, or inherited beliefs. So even as you visualize abundance, your subconscious is still scanning for threats, anticipating loss, bracing for failure, and the field listens to that deeper signal. It collapses the wave not to your conscious desires, but to your subconscious expectations. This is why people feel stuck, why they journal, meditate, visualize, and yet life doesn't budge because they're aligned on the surface, but broadcasting chaos underneath. Your subconscious, running nearly 95% of your life, is the true observer. And in the quantum field, the observer always shapes the result. What most people don't realize is that the heart, not just the mind, plays a critical role in this signal. Science has shown that your heart generates an electromagnetic field many times stronger than your brain. This field, measurable and real, extends far beyond your body and interacts with the world around you constantly. When your heart and your brain are in sync, when what you think and what you feel are in resonance, you become a powerful transmitter. Your energy becomes coherent. And coherent energy has a gravitational pull. This isn't just poetic, it's physics. When the signal you send is whole, the universe organizes around it. When it's fragmented, so is the response, because the quantum field speaks one language: coherence. And coherence isn't created in your head. It's cultivated through presence, through practice, through integration. This is the missing piece in so many manifestation teachings. They offer mental tools to solve spiritual problems, cognitive hacks to fix energetic misalignments. But this isn't a puzzle you solve with intellect. It's a reality you embody with consistency. So pause again, ask yourself, what am I really broadcasting? Not just when I'm scripting, meditating, or trying to manifest, but when I'm stressed, when I'm triggered, when I'm scrolling mindlessly. Because the field doesn't just respond to your rituals. It responds to your rhythm, your baseline. It listens to who you are being in the quiet, unguarded moments as much as in the deliberate ones. Once you understand that coherence, not effort, moves the field and that your subconscious sends the truest signal, you come to the next essential question. What part of you is actually broadcasting that signal every second of the day? It's not your thoughts. It's not your goals. It's your nervous system. Your nervous system is the interface between your inner world and the quantum field. It processes safety and threat, stability and chaos long before your conscious mind can even form words. And more often than not, it's your nervous system, not your intention, that decides the frequency you transmit. You may be visualizing abundance, repeating to yourself that you're open to receiving more. But if your body is tense, your breath shallow, your chest tight every time you check your bank account, the field doesn't hear abundance. It hears contraction. It hears fear. It hears not safe yet. This is why so many well-intentioned efforts feel like self-sabotage. You tell yourself you're ready for love, but when someone moves closer, your whole system flinches. You affirm that you trust the universe, yet check your emails, your notifications, your bank app a dozen times a day in nervous anticipation. You say you're healed, but one harsh word reopens old wounds and sends you spiraling. And you wonder, why can't I break through? The answer is confronting in its simplicity. Your nervous system doesn't lie, even when your mind does. We live in a culture that glorifies mind over matter. A culture that teaches you to override your body, suppress your emotions, rationalize your pain. But in the quantum realm, energy is truth, and your body is the instrument that plays it. When your body is locked in hypervigilance, the signal you send is distorted. When your body is frozen in shutdown, the signal you send is absence. No amount of mental clarity can override a dysregulated body. You can only manifest from the state you are in, not the state you're hoping to reach. This is why people who do everything right still feel stuck, because what they're doing is mechanical, but what they're broadcasting is chaos, and the field doesn't listen to what you do. It listens to who you are. If your nervous system is locked in defense, the world will feel hostile. If your nervous system is anchored in openness, the world will feel welcoming. The outer mirrors the inner, always. This isn't about blame, it's about compassion, because many of us are carrying years, even generations of nervous system wiring shaped by trauma, scarcity, fear, disconnection. That wiring is not your fault, but it is your responsibility, because no one else can regulate your frequency for you. That's your work. That's your power. And the good news, the beautiful news is this: your nervous system is not fixed. It is plastic, adaptable, retunable, not by force, but by consistency. Every time you pause instead of panic, every time you soften instead of brace, every time you breathe instead of react, you're sending a new signal. And over time, that signal becomes your new baseline. Coherence isn't a one-time breakthrough. It's a daily practice of choosing regulation over reaction. So what does this look like? Here, now, in the quiet moments of daily life. It means noticing your body more than your to-do list. It means tracking your tension instead of chasing productivity. It means building a relationship with stillness, where your breath becomes a tuning fork for trust. Because in the end, your ability to receive is directly tied to your ability to feel safe. The field doesn't respond to intellectual safety. It responds to embodied safety. When your body finally believes it's okay to relax, the field reflects opportunities that don't require force. When your body trusts it's safe to open, the field mirrors connections that don't re-traumatize. This is why healing is manifestation, why nervous system regulation is abundance work, and why embodiment is the real shortcut. If your nervous system is the broadcaster of your signal, then what happens when control becomes static in the transmission? Here lies the paradox most people never see. The more you try to control the outcome, the more you interfere with the very frequency you're trying to send. It's not because you're lazy, not because you lack discipline. In fact, most people who struggle with manifestation aren't doing too little. They're doing too much. Too much from a place of mistrust. Over-planning, over-monitoring, overthinking, not realizing that the very act of controlling is already transmitting fear into the field. We've been taught since childhood that control equals safety. We believe if we hold on tightly enough, measure every variable, double-check every step, we'll finally feel secure. But in the quantum realm, that mindset backfires, because the field doesn't interpret control as power. It receives it as resistance. Each time you micromanage the universe, you broadcast doubt. You signal that you don't actually believe it's working for you. And that signal creates more delays, more obstacles, more frustration. Think of it like trying to grow a plant. You water it, give it sunlight, nourish the soil, but then dig it up every hour to see if the roots have taken. That constant interference doesn't help it grow faster. It weakens it. In the same way, when you obsessively monitor your progress, you keep disrupting the energy already at work. You don't let it root. You don't let it unfold. This is the control trap, and it often hides behind what looks like doing the work. We think we're being intentional, but really, we're being reactive. We visualize abundance, yet check our balance in panic. We script about love, yet obsess over unanswered texts. We meditate in the morning, yet spiral in fear by afternoon. And each time we do this, we reinforce the timeline we're trying so hard to escape. Because the field doesn't respond to isolated moments. It responds to patterns. If your pattern is stress and suspicion, no matter how pretty the words you wrap it in the field hears chaos, it doesn't care about appearances. It mirrors coherence, not performance. This is why so many people say, I'm doing all the right things, but nothing's changing. Because they're still gripping, still seeking reassurance from the outside before trusting inside. And the result? More searching, more waiting, more evidence that fuels the need to grip tighter. Here's the shift. Manifestation isn't passive, but it also isn't forceful. It's a dance, a quiet co-creation, a moment-by-moment relationship with surrender. And surrender isn't giving up. It's giving permission. It's allowing what's already aligned to reach you without obstruction. To get there, you must ask yourself honestly, what emotion is driving my actions? Am I visualizing because I feel connected or because I'm afraid? Am I scripting because I feel empowered or because I feel behind? Am I chasing a result or embodying a reality? The difference is subtle but profound. When you act from trust, your energy expands. When you act from fear, it contracts. And the field doesn't respond to what you say, it responds to how you move. It listens to the way you exhale after checking your phone, the way your shoulders relax when you're alone, the way you soften your jaw when no one's watching. If you want a different outcome, you must broadcast from a different baseline. Not occasionally, not just in the morning, but as a way of being. That means training your nervous system to let go not just once, but consistently. Letting go doesn't mean sitting back and doing nothing. It means holding your vision gently while allowing the form it takes to surprise you. It means taking action from inspiration, not compulsion. It means knowing the difference between aligned effort and frantic forcing. So pause again. Where in your life are you clinging the hardest? What would it feel like to soften even by 10%? Not to give up, but to give room. Because in the quantum field, release isn't weakness, it's calibration. And when you lead with openness, you stop sending the signal that something is missing. You begin to resonate with the version of reality where it's already here. Everything you've heard so far leads to this moment, the realization that true manifestation doesn't happen through desire. It happens through embodiment. This is where so many falter. Not because they lack clarity, not because they lack discipline, but because they're still waiting for the external to shift before they change inside. They wait for the partner to show up before they soften into love. Wait for the money to arrive before they feel safe. Wait for the healing to complete before they trust their body. But in the quantum field, it's the reverse. You don't manifest the life you want by chasing it. You manifest it by becoming the version of you who already lives it. This isn't about pretending. It's not about faking confidence or plastering on a smile when you're breaking inside. It's about tuning your entire system, your breath, your nervous system, your thoughts, your habits into resonance with the reality you want to experience. Becoming the signal first, so the form can follow. Let's make it real. If you want to attract love, don't just visualize a partner. Ask yourself, would the version of me who is deeply loved and seen obsessively check their phone, overanalyze every text, question their worth after each interaction? Or would they be present, open-hearted, self-honoring? That version of you would speak more softly to yourself. Pause before reacting. Say no where you used to say yes. That's embodiment. If you want to manifest abundance, it's not about chanting, "I'm rich," while bracing for the next bill. It's about teaching your body the sensation of enough. Maybe you walk slower through the grocery store, noticing what you already have. Maybe you tip an extra $1 just to affirm there's more where that came from. Maybe you stop checking your bank account 5 times a day and start noticing how supported you already are. These tiny choices carry a massive signal. I trust this is already unfolding. And if what you want is health embodiment, doesn't mean obsessing over symptoms or fearing every ache. It means treating your body like an ally, not an enemy. Moving it with care, feeding it with reverence, speaking to it with tenderness. You stop looking for what's wrong and begin nurturing what's right. The shift is subtle, but seismic. Because manifestation isn't about proving to the universe that you deserve it. It's about becoming a match to what already exists. Everything you desire is already vibrating on a certain frequency. It's not in the future. It's parallel to you right now, waiting for you to match it. When you become the signal, the timelines collapse. What once felt far away begins to materialize, not because you forced it, but because you met it. This is why embodiment is so much more than action. It's not about hustling or checking boxes. It's about infusing everything you do with the energy of already being there. It's brushing your teeth as someone who feels worthy, replying to a text as someone who already feels loved, showing up to your life, not waiting to be chosen, but choosing yourself. Again and again. And yes, it takes courage, because there will be days when the outside world shows no evidence of change, when your bank account still looks thin, when no one calls you back, when your body still aches. But the real test of embodiment is this: can you stay loyal to your frequency, even when your circumstances haven't caught up? The most powerful manifestors aren't chasing, they're calibrating. They're not addicted to outcomes, they're committed to alignment. And from that place, their lives bend around them, not because they demanded it, but because they became undeniable. So pause here. Ask yourself, what would the version of me who already has what I want do today? How would they sit? How would they breathe? What choices would they make, not to get there, but because they are there? Because that version of you already exists, and the field is listening. No matter how aligned you become, life will test it. Not because the universe is cruel, but because it's honest. You will have days when you feel powerful, connected, in flow, and then, in a blink, something happens. An unexpected bill, a sharp word, a wave of self-doubt you thought you'd already outgrown. And just like that, your frequency wobbles. The embodied version of you fades. The old timeline whispers your name. This isn't failure. This is being human. Alignment isn't about staying elevated at all times. It's about knowing how to return when you fall. Because you will fall. You'll forget. You'll contract. And that's okay. The power lies not in perfection, but in remembering how to come back. This is where emotional regulation becomes your quiet superpower, not as suppression but as sacred listening. Many people think manifestation means feeling good all the time. It doesn't. You're not meant to bypass fear, grief, or anger. You're meant to move through them without letting them hijack your signal. This is emotional fluency, the ability to feel the full range of your humanity without collapsing into it. When fear arises, it's not the enemy. It's an invitation, a signal from a part of you that's seeking safety. Instead of running, you pause, you breathe, you place a hand over your chest. You let it speak, but not steer. The goal isn't to erase emotion. It's to hold it without letting it take the wheel. This is what regulation looks like. You notice the tension. You witness the story. You choose your response. And in doing so, you reestablish coherence not by force, but by presence. You don't have to be unwavering to manifest. You just have to get better at returning. Think of it like tuning an instrument. Over time, it goes slightly off pitch, not because it's broken, but because life stretches its strings. When you hear the dissonance, you adjust gently, without panic. That's mastery. So how do you return in real life? First, use your body as your barometer. When you're triggered, don't run straight to your thoughts. Go to your breath. Is it shallow, tight? Even 10 seconds of deeper breathing can shift your chemistry. Then check your posture. Are your shoulders collapsing? Is your jaw clenched? Your heart guarded? These micro-tensions send macro signals to the field. Soften where you can. Second, notice emotional loops. Your mind will try to protect you by rehearsing worst-case scenarios. It believes overthinking equals safety. But every loop weakens your signal. When you catch yourself spiraling, interrupt not by force, but by redirection. Ask, what would my aligned self say to this part of me? Third, anchor yourself in rituals that restore regulation. A walk without your phone. A quiet hand over your heart. A whispered mantra when doubt rises. These aren't just nice habits. They're acts of energetic hygiene. They clear the static, ground your signal, remind the field I'm still here, and finally give yourself permission to be imperfect. The field doesn't require flawless frequency. It reflects dominant patterns, not momentary slips. One bad day doesn't undo everything. What matters is where you return, and how often. After everything we've explored, coherence, embodiment, regulation, one truth rises above them all. This isn't a trick. It's not a hack. It's not a secret you master once and then set aside. It's a way of being, a frequency you choose to live inside, moment by moment. Too many people treat manifestation like a checklist. They follow the steps. They expect results. And when the world doesn't immediately shift, they assume it doesn't work. But the field isn't measuring your performance. It's reading your resonance. Not how perfect you are, but how consistent. Not how many techniques you know, but how deeply you've become the signal itself. The most powerful manifestors aren't waiting for circumstances to dictate their frequency. They lead with it. They wake up and tune themselves like an instrument, not to escape reality, but to shape it. They don't force timelines. They become magnetic to the one that's already aligned. And when setbacks come, as they always will, they don't collapse. They breathe. They recalibrate. They listen beneath the noise and adjust. This is the quiet mastery few talk about. It isn't flashy. It doesn't trend. But it works. Because in the quantum field, truth isn't loud. It's steady. So how do you live this here and now? Start each morning not by checking your phone, but by checking your frequency. Ask yourself, what station am I tuned to today? Trust or fear, flow or control. Use your body as your compass. The tightness in your jaw, the tension in your chest, the way you hold your breath, these are not problems. They're invitations. Throughout the day, build small moments of awareness. Notice where you slip. Celebrate where you stay centered. And at night, reflect not with guilt, but with curiosity. Where did I wobble? Where did I return? Where did I become the signal? These micro adjustments create macro shifts. Over time, your nervous system begins to expect safety. Your heart radiates coherence. Your field becomes unmistakable. You become someone who doesn't just practice manifestation, but lives it. And here's something most people miss. You don't have to do this alone. We are social, energetic beings. We co-regulate. We attune to those around us. When you surround yourself with others who are also choosing coherence, your field strengthens. When you engage in conversations that affirm who you're becoming, not who you were, you stabilize faster. So curate your environment. Choose voices that lift your signal. Fill your space, physical and digital, with reminders of who you truly are. Because support isn't weakness, it's strategy. And remember, there is no finish line. This isn't about arriving, it's about evolving. You are a living frequency. You are the field. You are the observer and the observed. And every moment you align, the universe aligns with you. Manifestation isn't about getting more. It's about remembering you already are. So take this in. Let it echo in your body long after the words fade. Let this be the beginning of a deeper relationship, not just with the quantum field, but with yourself. And if something in you feels softer now, if there's a steadiness in your breath, a quiet yes somewhere in your chest, honor that. You're already becoming it.